Hey everyone, welcome back to another Haolonggood review. Today we're taking a look at their Pachyrhinosaurus. Man, Haolonggood has been on an absolute tear lately since they came back full force. They've been releasing figures pretty much every couple of weeks, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Their affordability, I keep saying it, they are the best value on the dinosaur collecting market right now. This Pachyrhinosaurus pair, and get both versions. They retail for about 18 bucks if you get them out of the box. I'll leave a link down below in the description to the AliExpress store I got these from. Now, obviously, I did not get them in box. They still ship inside their foam packaging that would come inside the box. But if you do it without the box, you save a couple bucks. I really don't care about the boxes. They go immediately in the trash as soon as I get these figures. So might as well just save a couple bucks. But yeah, they've just been cranking out figure after figure. They're definitely on a herbivore tier, and I'm okay with that because on the other end of the spectrum, we have P&S was cranking out theropod after theropod. So it's nice to have some balance going on in the collecting community. And since we have no need to go over the packaging, since I've been ordering these out of the box, I've been getting like little aquarium plants with most of the releases from the AliExpress store I order in. So it's pretty cool, if you have some dinosaur dioramas, you have some foliage you can throw out there. So enough about that. Let's throw both these figures up on the turntable and take a closer look. And here are both figures out of the packaging, and man, do they look great. Every time I review a figure from Haolonggood, I'm just blown away by the price I pay for them. They're such a good value, and they're such high quality figures, and they're all beautifully sculpted and painted. And I love P&S, but their figures, roughly around the same size. Cost pretty much double the price, and I think Haolonggood does a much better job on their paint apps. Pachyrhinosaurus is a fairly well-known species of ceratopsians. There have been a lot of great figures of this species over the years. It's actually been treated pretty well by most model companies, and these Haolonggood ones are great. I actually kind of consider these like my favorite Pachyrhinosaur figures in my collection right now. However, I do have one problem with them. Every Pachyrhinosaurus figure ever made is based off the species Pachyrhinosaurus lakustai, because those unicorn like spikes right between the eyes, and I really want to get like a canadensis or even a protorum. Canadensis would have been absolutely fantastic. Haolonggood has been putting out figures that have been in high demand. Did we really need another Pachyrhinosaurus lakustai with all the great options out there? No. They're still good figures, but I really wish they were like canadensis, just to have some variation in my collection. It's my really only complaint about them. Other than that, I think they're both spectacular looking. We have a green and brown version. This is the one time I can say I would be happy having either color version, because I think both of them look absolutely great. But yeah, really good looking models. Just wish they were canadensis. That's really my only complaint. Now time for some measurements. These figures are 7 inches long from the tip of the beak to the tip of the tail, or 17.8 centimeters, and about 3¼ inches tall to the top of the frill, or 8¼ centimeters. So Pachyrhinosaurus lakustai was around 16.4 feet long, or 5 meters. So I put these figures in the 128 scale range. Haolonggood figures seem to run a little bit big. They claim they are 135 scale, but they always seem to run around that 130-ish scale range. So these will scale nicely with the rest of their figures. If you want to base this off Pachyrhinosaurus canadensis, which were 19.7 feet to 26.2 feet long, or 68 meters, I'll put these closer to the 133 to the 145 scale range. But why would you want to do that? Because these are clearly lakustai, and we can't get a canadensis figure to save our lives. And now let's zoom and take a look at some of the finer details on these figures, starting with the brown version. Now, one thing you'll notice right off the bat, these Pachyrhinosaurs have a horizontal slit pupil. I know it looks really weird to a lot of people, but that's how Pachyrhinosaurus appeared in Prehistoric Planet. We see a lot of modern day animals, herbivores specifically, that have horizontal slit pupils, like deer, antelopes, all those fun little prey items. The reason to have a pupil like this is it gives you a broader range of vision. These animals did not have binocular vision. Their eyes are set on the side of their heads, so this gives a much wider range to pick up on predators approaches. So I think that's a really cool touch that they did that. I kind of wish the people didn't go all the way across, so it's just a little bit shorter, but it is what it is. It bothers some people. I actually think it's really cool that they did that. And now going back to the rest of the figure, the boss is beautifully sculpted. You have all these little knobs sculpted in here, nice fine scale detail, larger scales, highlighting around the finestras of the frill. There's the classic unicorn horns that lakustai is known for. Beak is nicely sculpted, lots of dry brushing to bring out all that beautiful detail. You can see the nostrils and the ear canal sculpted in. On the front of the frill, we do have some bright blue and orange on the fenestra to give it a nice display look. Just really a really nice head sculpt on this figure, and even the boss has some nice striping on it. That's a really cool touch. And then going down to the rest of the body. Now the figure is not as over textured as there in the Pseudoceratops. A lot of people complained that had really over textured look, and it seems like Haolonggood has paid attention to that and really gave this figure some nice proportionate scales. You have all this nice brown mixed in with these darker stripes all over the body, some rows of osteoderms along the back. Going down to the front legs. Front legs are nicely sculpted. They're decked out in this nice glossy light brown paint. Flipping over to the other side, you have a nice cream coat with all that nice proportionate scale detail. And since we have the figure flipped over, let's do the dinosaur butthole check. There's just the littlest, tiniest cloaca slit right there. Going down to the hind legs, you see nice, big, powerful, muscular hind legs. Same thing, toe claws are painted with that glossy light brown. And here's the back right here, nice, thick, bulky animal, followed by a nice, short, stubby looking tail. So yeah, all around, this figure is absolutely great. Like I said, I can't really pick between both versions. I think both look absolutely nice. And the best part is, that price is so low, you can always get both figures. It looks like a nice mated pair on your shelves. And now let's take a look at the green version. Same thing, has the horizontal slit pupil, which I just think it's just an absolutely awesome touch. Has the same type of striping. Let's get the camera to focus in on that. On the boss with like some dry brushing of white. Just the details on these figures and the paint apps are just so well done for the price you pay for them. I love Safari Limited, figures. They're, roughly around the same price. Their paint apps are pretty basic on there, but there's more designed for children, and it just shows you the price difference. The quality difference you can get with the price point of their figures. Even on the beak, you have some more of that white dry brushing. It has the same coloration pretty much on the fenestra. You have that bright orange highlighted by a little bit of that blue, but that blue kind of gets lost because this figure is a very light green color. You can see the horns have some nice browns transition before it goes to that bone white color on the frill. And then going down to the neck, you have all this light green with all this little speckling throughout the body. You have a nice brown stripe, orange stripe going down the back, all the way down to the tip of the tail. The green blotches kind of get a little bit more sparse on the flanks of the animal. Toe claws are painted in with that glossy brown paint. On the underside, you have a little bit more of an orangish tone for the underside of the body, but still nice scale detail all over it. Even the bottoms of the feet have very faint scale detail. The cloaca slit in this one is not as noticeable as it was on the brown version. Poor thing, I don't know how it's going to take a crap. Hind legs, you got more of that orange on the side and that nice molting and speckling with that light green, and that nice little short tail highlighted by all those little osteoderms. So yeah, both figures I just think look absolutely perfect. Could hold gun to my head, I couldn't tell you which one I prefer in my collection. I'm happy with both of them. Moving on with comparisons, first up here is Collecti's 1/40 scale human figure. And next up here it is with some other Pachyrhinosaurus for other companies. Like I said earlier, Pachyrhinosaurus has been treated really well from most dinosaur toy companies. We have a lot of accurate figures to choose from. This big boy right here is the Beast of Mesozoic, and that one's 1/18 scale. Here is Safari Limited, and this is PNSO's take. And like I said earlier, they're all lakustai, so they all have those little unicorn horns. And we're telling anybody to give us a canadensis or Protorum. I know I'm complaining about that. Just I didn't really feel the need to have another Pachyrhinosaurus lakustai. Even though these two figures are great, these are actually my favorite Pachyrhinosaurs out of the small ones. Love the Beast of Mesozoic. Those are in a different league, but yeah, out of these smaller 1/30ish scale figures, the Haolonggood ones are definitely my top picks. And let's do a Wapiti formation group shot. That's the formation that lakustai is known from. Here it is with Safari Limited, Albertosaurus, and in the back over here, that big hulking beast that is Collecti's Edmontosaurus regalis. And lastly, here is a nice group shot of all the great figures Haolonggood has put out recently. Like I said, they've been releasing figures like every couple of weeks, and look at this lineup. We have these two beautiful, massive apatosaurs. Over here are the new Pachyrhinosaurus, which I'll be reviewing next. We have the Tyrannosaurs, here's the Pachys, the Nasutoceratops, Pentaceratops, and the Dinosaurs. So yeah, beautiful lineup. We have an Edmontonia along the way. And one thing I just want to point out really quick, I know a lot of people, the biggest complaint about the Tyrannosaurus was the lack of thumb spikes, but due to, fan outcry, Haolonggood went back, retooled the mold, and now there are newer versions out there that actually have the thumb spike incorporated. Who does that? I can't think of any company that has done a turnaround like that with complaints about a figure like Haolonggood did. So I think it's pretty cool that they did that. And I think they said if you do end up ordering it from the AliExpress stores, please, tell them in the notes that you want the newest version with the thumb spikes. But that's awesome that they did that. They're listening to us collectors that give them the money to make these figures. So great company, and I'm glad they're just giving such a diverse line of figures in such a short amount of time. So final thoughts on Haolonggood's Pachyrhinosaurus. They are my favorite Pachyrhinos in that 1/30th scale range. Like I said a few times in this review, we didn't really need another lakustai. Protorum and canadensis would have been most welcome by the dinosaur collecting community. But hey, it is what it is. These figures are like $18, and the quality is just outstanding on them. Both figures are beautifully painted and sculpted, and the low price makes it really easy to pick up both versions of the figures. And I absolutely love the horizontal slit pupil. I think it's such a unique touch on them that really make them stand out from the other Pachyrhinosaur figures. And like I said at the beginning of the review, if you want to pick these figures up, I'll leave a link down below in the description to the AliExpress store I ordered these from. So that will do it for the review. I still got the Huerosaurs to review. I got the Reborn Diplodocus coming in, and a bunch more stuff from Mattel that I still have to get to. So stay tuned for all of that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.